At Cricket South Africa Interim Board chairperson Stavros Nicolaou says that they are still confused by Cricket Australia's decision to cancel their tour to South Africa. Now, the three-test series was going to take place through March as they were set to arrive in the country on the 24th of February. We do have Dr. Nicolaou on the video line. Good evening, Dr. Nicolaou, and thank you very much for joining me on the show. Now, my understanding is that Cricket South Africa have officially launched a complaint with the ICC. What exactly are you hoping to get out of this complaint?
Thanks. Good evening to you and all the viewers, and thanks very much for having me on your program. The hope of Cricket South Africa in instituting these proceedings at the ICC is as follows. In fact, there are three objectives in terms of what we're trying to achieve here. The first is that we feel there's a significant financial and economic aspect to the cancellation of the tour. It's a postponement technically, but we're not sure this will play out anytime soon. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a hole that's going to be left from a revenue point of view. And smaller cricket playing nations and less resourced cricket playing nations like ourselves need to understand what remedies are available when these type of situations arise. They arise on a unilateral basis in this instance, and we need to try and recalibrate these unilateral decisions. Secondly, we are looking at whether there's any redress in terms of points that could be lost leading up to the World Championship. And thirdly, we feel that the rules need to be looked at in terms of how these decisions are taken. We don't know what the prospect of success will be, of course, with the dispute that we've launched. But I think this is more about a statement that's got to be made in terms of the smaller and less resourced cricket playing nations in the world.
And I mean, from your side as the chair of the interim board, have you tried to interact with your counterparts in Australia?
Well, I need to take you through how this manifested. The executives and management and the medical staff, including the chief medical officer of Cricket South Africa, had numerous interactions with their counterparts. During these interactions, there were a number of requests from our Australian counterparts in terms of their requirements to ensure the safety of the safety and well-being of their players. We acceded to all of these requests. There were further requests around biosafety zones that had to be introduced. We would have upgraded these at the request of our Australian colleagues significantly more than we had done so with the Sri Lankan and Pakistani women's tours recently. Mm-hmm. We got experts from the health department to speak to our counterparts in Australia. So significant time, effort, and resource was invested. Mm-hmm. We then got a letter virtually out of the blue. In fact, we got a call on a Tuesday, and by Tuesday morning we had received this letter. There was no discussion around it, and this is what surprised us in the first instance. And secondly, the reason cited puzzled us. The reason cited for the postponement of the tour was twofold. Firstly, that we were approaching the peak of the second wave in South Africa. Now, when we received this letter, nothing could be further removed from the truth. In fact, we were on a significant downward trajectory of the pandemic in South Africa. We were reaching levels from 22,000 at peak down to 1,000 to 2,000 cases a day. So we don't agree with the assessment of our Australian counterparts as the first reason that they cited for this postponement. The second reason they said to us is that the dominant variant in our country was more virulent, meaning that it caused more severe disease. That has also not been proven. It might be more contagious, but not more virulent. So this really surprised and puzzled us. We are engaging our Australian counterpart, certainly my counterpart, and we will try and understand the actual reasons and how they unpack the situation in South Africa and see how we manage future tours going forward.
Do you know when you guys are going to get an answer from the ICC?
I actually don't want to speculate because there is no fixed time period. unfortunately. So I'd rather allow proceedings to take their course. And as I said earlier, there is certainly a statement that we intend making around launching these proceedings.
Now, let's move over to chat about the interim board as a whole. Obviously, you guys have had a case going on with Umpili Ramela. He's even come out to criticize the board, saying that you only focus on black executives at the cricket body. What do you have to say with regards to this? And are you comfortable with how you guys have been dealing with the whole case?
Well, firstly, let me say that I don't agree with, and neither does the rest of the board agree with Mr. Ramela. If it was true what he was saying, then why is the acting CEO of Cricket South Africa a black gentleman? Poletsi is our acting CEO. Okay, so I cannot agree. And if you look at the facts here, then you will see that this is not true what is being said here. We wouldn't have an acting CEO, as I said, if you were not, if what he was saying is true, who is a black gentleman. Secondly, I'm not at liberty to discuss the proceedings that Mr. Ramela has launched against Cricket South Africa. They are in legal proceedings. The matter is sub judice. We would rather say, let's allow the legal process to take its course.
But are you comfortable with how the whole situation is handled?
We must certainly, as a board, are comfortable. We are in alignment with the ministry as well. The minister made that clear yesterday when he spoke on behalf of the ministry. And we are comfortable that we have followed due process and due regard for all the legal aspects that are required in respect to some of the disciplinary processes we are obliged to have launched in terms of forensic audit that was done on the organization.
Dr. Nicolaou, thank you very much for your time. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. There's still so much to chat with regards to the SA Interim Board and what's happening at the organization. But we'll definitely have you back to chat about all those things that are happening in Cricket South Africa. That is a Cricket South Africa Interim Board chairperson, Dr. Stavros Nicolaou, just letting us in on some of those things that are happening at Cricket South Africa, including the confusion with regards to Cricket Australia saying that they're not coming to South Africa for the Proteas tour anymore.